Okay, what is you, Christian?
Oh, what's up? Assalamu alaikum. How you doing, brother?
What's going down?
Let me not say that. Let me not say brother. No. So I'm wow. I feel good being on the chat with you. This the first time. So let's get to the question real quick. Um, I grew up Muslim. Um, I believe in one God, and Muslims believe that we worship one God. So what do you have to say about that? Like, I mean, I don't understand why you were kind of throwing shade on Islam a lot. You know what I'm saying?
You said we think the same. I don't believe in monotheism or polytheism. Both of those came from some ego, selfish minded individuals.
I didn't say you though. I said Muslims.
Oh,
Well, I
oh,
guess you technically are a Muslim from a Muslim's perspective. You will be considered a Muslim too because Muslim just admits their will and it's a surrender to God, to the Creator.
nah. Muslim is like a certain week of the year. I don't go
Okay.
to, I don't live out those practices of Yahweh supposedly coming back. I don't want it to be spring all year round.
So how did you get a day out of the week out of Muslims mean Islam and is mean peace, and surrender, submission. How do you get a day out of the week out of Muslim? I don't
They they
understand that.
they taught you that's what it means. But when you practice it, y'all just worship daytime.
All right, all right. So
So
how do you? Okay.
y'all reflect y'all daytime off the moon. So it's like really secret masonry mother worship.
All right.
But based
That's
off the
okay.
sun though. So it's based off the sun calculation, based on math, and based on the reflection, the moon. That's how y'all react or respond to it for yourselves. So it's like you wanting it to be daytime all day by destroying y'all desires down here. So destroying your desires down here is like destroying the darkness. So you will always emit light or daytime, but they got y'all thinking y'all just emit light because it's all witchcraft. Like,
So you believe Islam is witchcraft?
yeah, what else y'all doing? It's magical thinking.
Isn't that what you doing? What do you consider you doing then?
I'm telling y'all about yourselves and showing y'all how it's supposed to be seen. So I'm taking y'all away from magic. Thank you so much for donation, Lit Temple.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like I still don't understand the concept of like the day of the week. I mean, I get the moon part, but still, we still worship one God though. So I worship
So
the one
what
God.
are your prayers about? What do you got a specific time that you pray?
Correct.
What time of the day is it?
It's throughout the day. We pray 5 times a day.
5 times a day. So you
Hmm.
worship 5 different transitions of the sun.
I wouldn't say that. I would just say this is. I mean, we're
But
still
when you take the magic away from it, what else are you doing? It's an as above, so below concept. For you to not be flunked out down here, you have to live a certain way. That's prayer. But what's happening is somebody created that system, made you do a certain thing at the time that sun is doing it. So when you play out that thing down here and act out that mantra at that certain time of the day when the sun is doing it, then you're able to live out the way to see another day. Basically, that's how they look at it.
okay. Let's see another day. Okay. I think I get you. Okay.
Like, did no man in existence come up with another system without that concept? That a man looked up at the stars and they morality, virtues, and principles from a man perspective came up with from the as above, so below. And we live out the way the
Hmm.
stars are forming, the way it moved down here, then for the most part, we supposed to act a certain nature. And then they built the whole world amongst that. So you might think Muslim means something else, but I'm pretty sure when you go into these churches and stuff, y'all doing a star formation and then y'all all doing mantras. That's witchcraft.
Is that bad though?
Well, if y'all all controlled from my eyes, yeah. But I mean, if it help you by being sheep minded, I'm not saying you specifically, and you need these things for a mental crutch to live your life, that's what makes it good as a personal relationship. The moment y'all come out and kick it out like other people need to look at it from y'all way of someone taught y'all it to be rude by, that's when I and God see it as demonic and witchcraft and casting
Hmm.
stones and being lost and being fools and stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. I hear you. I hear you.
For an example, how you just sat here and said, well, I don't think Muslims like that. And I don't think we actually worship in certain parts of the day, because the day would be the micro part of the clock, and the months and the years would be that macro and the seasonal transitions. So when you said we're not actually doing that, I mean, we're actually worshiping gods or whatever like that. But when
Right.
you look at your actual practice, your way of worshiping your God, you have to do the practice, which is praying 5 times a day. And these particular times of the day is based on the sun transition.
I mean, it's still going towards God though. So why does that matter?
Because these things have nothing to do with God. It's some man
The
concept.
sun, the
Some man
sun doesn't
concept
have
how to live life. What you say?
the sun doesn't have anything to do with God.
No,
Didn't God create the sun? Did God create the
no,
sun?
no. We did.
We created the sun.
Yeah. So that's
I
a
ain't gonna ask
Masonic.
you how to do that.
That's a Masonic concept to think that there's a disembodied mind that think like a human made the sun for humans, and the sun ain't even a thing on its own. Light don't have a shape. What happening is an event is happening, and since we're small, it's producing what we're calling light, and that's that energy that we're calling carbon and all kind of other stupid shit that's bending in on itself as an accumulation of fluid to become flesh and everything in the world, and mustard seeds and trees.
Mm, okay.
So us
All
getting
right.
lost in our desires is that demon for us to be here today. None of that had anything to do with God.
Wow. That makes sense though. And I mean, I hate to admit it, but it makes sense though. Um, all right. I was gonna ask one more thing because you said something else. So what do you think we should do? I mean, obviously religion is no real
We should
purpose then, right?
we should get out of witchcraft, and we'll stop casting stones at each other and all be able to come together and live life how the way it's supposed to be. And that'll be in God's way.
So I like Islam because I can Salah helps me, surrender to God. It shows me like I don't want to say ritual, but it's like it's a way to pray to God. So um how do you pray to God? What do you do? Do you do
I don't
rituals?
pray.
You don't
I
pray?
make affirmations. Yeah, I make affirmations. For me to pray, that's for me to be a fool and not know what prayer means. So they could change the letters, but when you pray, you're actually leaving yourself open to be preyed on by a spiritual predator. So you manifest victimizing energies based on magical thinking. But when you understand you're the predator, prayer actually means affirmations. So when you're casting an imagination outside of you, you create a creature. When you bring a thought and a feeling together, it's an imagination. It becomes a goal. Now, you
Mm,
supposed to be the spirit that prey on that. So you sit there
mm,
and meditate on different angles, angels, and different de-evolved lights, demons, aka different ways and thoughts and feelings on how to make that come to be. So you're making up experience that you can manifest in the 1, 2, 3rd dimension that lead to that outcome. So that's what happens. So you'll create a whole bunch of synchronicities and correspondences that lead you to that idea you was praying on, not creating an idea and hoping another spirit jump in that and bring that in your life. That's witchcraft that
mm.
the rulers created to run the world for individuals to think for themselves and create voodoo.
That's crazy, man. Wow. All right. Yeah. And it makes sense though. It makes sense. So do you think religion or Islam is bad though? I guess you.
Yeah, because that very
Yeah.
reason right there is bad.
Mm,
Because that very reason they got everybody lost in magical thinking without being able to utilize their own magic and make you understand that that's your power. So you're praying on that thought. That's where they got the concept from to remix it as reverse psychology on everybody else to pray to them.
Oh, because we
So
got it from
now,
somebody else. It was somebody else's
yeah,
thinking.
so they own the
Mm.
intellectual property. So they receive all the energy of the meaning behind whatever you're praying for.
We would get that too, though, right? Of course, right?
Well, they're the only ones making the money off the Bibles and technology that teach us about the things that we read to make us think we need these practices to get us out of that energy. So that's how they're transmuting the energy. Since we don't know how to think for ourselves, they create a circumstance for us to think and then create fear energy, like what you need to do if it was to be taken away whether it's a mental form, death, going to heaven, however the case may be, physical, and then create a whole bunch of allegories that we can spend our money on. That's an allegory of these things to be like, yup, see, the world is true. Yup, see, I need these things. And then they're the only ones who's rich in the world. And then everybody else just continue to be sheep, needing these things for their own salvation, that it don't work nowhere but jail, man, or voodoo or something like that. It ain't like so a pope gonna get out of his seat and be like, hey, you intelligent, you see some of that book we created that I ain't never seen before. How about you jump into this pope seat in the world for me? I don't think y'all doing that. So it's just magical thinking at this point.
And you think that's it right there, just magical thinking and affirmation and shit like that?
The moment we add to it and don't do nothing from it, we got to stop adding to it. That's we got magic witchcraft practice on us. It taught us to think for to talk to ourselves, but be masters at over exaggerating.
Because I feel like praying and stuff like
my bad. I just want to make one more point. That's why a religious person may not understand why I say that, because they over exaggerate things like the Sabbath day, where God say make it simple first, aka we know that's the full cycle of the sun, so that's why it starts off another week. So for them to add to the Bible like it means something else, and God brought this here, this, that, and third, they're lost in someone else's concept of understanding the sun took a full cycle and then use their mind as a floating disembodied brain or creature that they convinced themselves created the world, and it's just purely somebody's idea about what the hell is going on right now.
All right. Okay. That's it for me. I mean,
shout out to Testing Reds, real shit. Y'all, if you got a channel, y'all make sure y'all follow him and shit like that. All right, who's this? Ain't shit.